the clearness and clarity that we need to function in a mindful way. Clear and focused thinking that happens as a result of practicing meditation is called clarity. When you gain clarity in your way of thinking, then you begin to understand that some things we have already done, thinking they were wise and clever, might not be as wise as we once thought. I was thinking of an example yesterday about this that I was going to give in the class this morning, and I thought about my mother of blessed memory. My mother would talk about a neighbor or some other friends of ours, and she would say, well, the thing that I admire the most about them is that they always say what they think. And I thought that was the greatest thing in the world, that people say what they think. And so I would, I would repeat that, and I used to say, say what I think, let the chips fall where they may. But then I learned that saying what I think is not always a good idea, and that it's the best thing in most situations when I want to say what I think, maybe to say nothing at all. But occasionally my mind starts this thing of, well, you need to say this, or you need to say that, or you need to get into this conversation. And I think that one has to be practiced, has to have practice, and has to become committed to allowing themselves to look inwardly in order to become more controlling of what they think and how they respond to those things. I just used two words as I was talking, and those words are looking inward. As we live our lives, we observe what's happening around us. All the activity, the weather, all the stuff that happens, the situation with COVID, our jobs, our families, on a day-to-day basis, we see those things going on around us, and we look at them, and certain emotions arise, certain feelings arise, certain things come up in our minds. The scientists say that we have hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day, and a lot of them we aren't even aware of, and we'll never be aware of some of those. But we have thoughts, and we entertain some of them. Some of the thoughts that we have come up and begin to identify or begin to manifest as emotion. And then sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, and I'm sure that most of us, it probably is a frequent, we get ourselves into trouble because we think something, we say it, or we do it, and then we realize it wasn't what we should have done. And we think, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did the world led me to do that? Well, what in the world led us to do it, as it is with me, most of the time is that we just didn't really think about it, because really thinking about it, we would have not done it. Although thinking on one hand is what gets us in trouble, and thinking on the other hand is what keeps us out of trouble. So mindfulness is an exercise in looking inward and coming to know ourselves. So we're going to do some practices this morning that will show us how to begin the journey to self-knowledge, how to begin the journey to begin to understand how our head works, how our mind works, how we can become and remain focused. Now, I've got a number of websites about meditation that I maintain, and one thing that I said on one of the websites, or actually I've said it on all of them, that I've been taken to task for, and I'll be honest with you about it. I have been taken to task for it, but I still think that's true. I don't think that people, including myself, can really find the control that they need over themselves unless they have some kind of deliberate practice that they do to allow themselves to become as focused as they need to be. It may even be something that people don't realize they're doing, or it might be 5 minutes a day. What I mean by not realize they're doing, I mean, if you're the kind of person that likes to just sit out in quietness and be quiet, that can be a meditation time. but we all need that. We all need some quietness and some time to just reflect on ourselves and on the things around us and to get away from all the stuff that's going on in the world. In the practice that I'm going to share with you, uh, please do your best to follow, but don't become stressed if you're not doing the practice correctly or if you're somehow doing it wrong, because it takes time to learn how to do a lot of it. And many people begin meditation and they stop because they say, well, I can't do it. I just can't do it. That's the thing that I have said to me most from people who are wanting to meditate and wanting to learn meditation is, well, I tried this and I just can't do it. And I always tell them, I did that for years myself. I can't do this. I don't, I don't have the way to do it. Somehow or the other, it just doesn't work for me. So I was sitting in a meditation class in Birmingham, Alabama, with some meditation teachers, and there were probably 200 or 300 of us there, and we were having a conversation. One of those circles. There were so many of us. There were like 3 circles, but we were having a conversation with the teacher, and I said to the teacher, um, "The problem is for me is that in the back of my mind, there's a conversation going all the time. It's like a movie playing. You know, all these things that are happening, even when I'm sitting here in class, I'm thinking about where am I going to eat dinner this evening after this class is over? I think I saw this restaurant, that restaurant away, or I'm thinking about something that happened on TV, or it was summertime and the Red Sox were pretty much on their way to the World Series, and I was thinking about the World Series, and I was thinking about everything else. In my mind, these things were coming up, and I was trying to meditate, and I think I was kind of getting the gist of meditation, but at the same time, all that was going on, and I said that really is a problem for me. And the teacher said it's not a problem at all. It's a good thing. It's good that you recognize that. And so that's one thing I want to say too with this practice is that you're never going to stop all of that chatter that goes on. What happens is you learn to not focus on it. You learn to let the focus be on something else. So what I want to do first is have everybody just sit up as straight as possible. I'm sitting in an office chair that sways back and forth. So I'm not sitting totally straight, but don't feel that you have to make yourself stiff like a rod in your back. Be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you're not gonna learn the technique, and or next time you'll say, well, that hurts too bad, or it's something that's too hard to do. So just let yourself be comfortable and just sit up. And I'm going to move back a little bit so that you can see what's going on. Just let yourself sit as straight as possible, and when you sit, your hands, just let your hands. I just do like this, and then let your hands just fall onto your legs, right above your knees. There's some mudras, that people do, there's some Zen classes, there are other mudras that people do in other classes. For the purpose of what we're doing, and the way that I meditate myself is just very gently, my hands on my knees and on my thighs, and my fingers are a little bit over my knees. And then just take a moment, close your eyes. Sometimes you can meditate with your eyes open, but for the most part, for these practices, we close our eyes. Let your feet fall flat on the floor rather than crossing your legs. Again, none of this is stuff that's going to cause you to not be able to participate effectively. It's just suggestions that will help you to keep your mind focused. So you're sitting with your back straight, your hands on your thighs, your eyes closed. And just breathe in and out normally. No deep breaths, no shallow breaths. Just normally the way you breathe. Now, while you're sitting in that position, I'm going to talk to you just a few minutes about some of the experiences that you probably are having. You'll hear me repeat certain things over and over because repetition is important in this kind of instruction. So with your back straight, your hands on your thighs, your eyes closed, begin to breathe or continue to breathe normally and allow yourself to start counting. When you breathe in, count one. When you breathe out, that's still one. On each in-breath, count another number and focus on the feeling of the breath entering your body, entering your nostrils. Breathe in one, breathe out, breathe in two, breathe out, breathe in three, breathe out, breathe in four, breathe out. Just hold that for a little bit and try it. I'll do it with you. So if it hasn't yet, what will happen ultimately is that your focus will leave your counting and will go to something else that's going on, something that may be important, something that you're thinking about, something that's bothering you, something that you need to do. So what you do in that case, when you lose that train or lose that sequence, is you just gently bring yourself back. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't say I can't do it, because it happens with everybody. It even happens with me as a meditation instructor. And, you know, it happens. Some of my best meditation instructors that I know, people that are considered meditation masters, it happens with them too. So sit up straight with your hands on your thighs just above your knees. Your eyes closed. Breathing normally. On every in-breath, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. 1, out, 2, out, in, 3, out, 4. And you can even say to yourself, in 1, in 2, in 3, in 4, etc. And I may be very wrong, but I would think that most of us wouldn't get very far until we have to start over again. And if that's the case, that's wonderful. That's one of the best things that's ever happened to you, because you begin to understand how our minds overcome and overwhelm the focus that we are trying to maintain. So let's go back and continue again with your hands on your thighs, back straight, your eyes closed, and breathing in normally, and count on the in breaths. When thoughts begin to arise, just say gently to yourself inside, thinking, and go back to counting again. Don't place any judgment on your thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts. They come, they go across your mind. That's all they are. If you ignore them, they'll go away eventually. This practice, so just let the thoughts come and go and don't entertain them. So now you open your eyes again and you can relax. If you weren't already relaxed, I hope you'll relax during that exercise. So what I want to do for just a few minutes is I want to ask you, anybody that would like to talk about it, I'd like to ask you how you felt about that, how it felt to you. How did you, um, what do you think about that particular practice?
Extremely
Anybody?
relaxing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Extremely relaxing.
Great. That's one thing that I think too is it's really relaxing.
I think it's telling that the moment I started the breathing exercise, my cat came downstairs and jumped into my lap, which was a distraction. I had to refocus, but it was that moment of relaxation. I think she sensed it.
Oh yeah, and that happens, especially when I'm trying to meditate, and my cat Chaucer does that sometimes, but it actually kind of teaches you, you know, that there are distractions, and we can, we and I can still do this. The distractions are sometimes learning tools, and like I said, I told my teacher, this thing going on in my head all the time. It's behind the scenes. It's like a movie plays out. How do I shut off the movie? And he said, well, the truth is, to begin with, you're not going to shut off the movie. You're just going to be able to focus somewhere else besides on the movie eventually. So anybody, how did you feel about the, how did you feel, when you were counting? Um, I know I didn't get very far, to be honest with you, until the thoughts started coming up. And some people say, well, you're a meditation instructor, why couldn't you get further? Well, sometimes I do, but when you're teaching and things like that, you've got other things on your mind. It isn't as easy as it looks like it is. But if you do it over and over again, it will help you to focus. So anybody, how did that feel? What did you think about that practice?
In the past, I felt like when my mind started wandering, I thought, well, I can't do this. And then you said, if your mind wanders, just go back to counting. And it was like, oh, I don't give up. I just go back to it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we place a lot of what is it? We place a lot of um, we want our thoughts. We think our thoughts are important in a lot of ways, and they are, but we do not have to entertain thoughts. We don't have to do what we're thinking. And like I said, my mother, blessed memory, would always say, well, people say what they think. Well, I learned at a very young age that saying what I think is not always the last thing to do. And doing what I think is also not always the last thing to do. And we don't have to be that slave. Some people call it the monkey mind. I don't like to call it the monkey mind because being an anthropologist, we're monkeys, but the thing is, it's like your mind just runs away and runs away and runs away and runs away. And I think in our world of instant gratitude, I think we want everything just instantly, and it doesn't happen instantly. And I've had people come to classes and start classes and be classes for 3 or 4 sessions, and then just quit. And I say, "Why you quit?" Well, I thought something was going to happen quicker, and for lots and lots of people, it does. They begin to realize it, like June said, you stop the thoughts and you just go back and you gently bring yourself back, and that becomes a process that is helpful. So, I just am honest with people and say that, doing this one time with James on Zoom is not going to, it's not going to, you're not going to attain alignment or whatever is supposed to happen, but you will learn the techniques of how to do it. And that hopefully will help you. So I know that there's a lot of redundancy here, but I want to do a similar thing again. And this one is a little bit different, but it's to show you how to focus on something besides focusing on your breathing in and out. So if you'll just sit up straight again, and in the same way, remember your back straight, your hands on your knees, on your thighs, above your knees. Breathe in and out normally, not too deeply, not too shallow. Your feet flat on the floor. So in this exercise, we're going to start with our feet. Just focus on your feet, how your feet feel on the floor. Or if your feet are on the floor, wherever they are, just how your feet. And we're going to do a kind of a body scan. Some people's feet may hurt, some people's feet may itch, some people's feet may want to dance, some people's feet may be still, whatever. Just focus on feeling in your feet for just a few seconds, and I'll tell you when. Now, focus on the feeling in your feet. Now, as you're focusing on your focus up to your legs. On your legs, on your thighs, just above your knees, you have your hands resting on your thighs. What is the sensation of your hands resting on your thighs? And of course, for each person, these sensations, feelings will be totally different. That's okay. There's no way you're supposed to feel. I'm just showing you how to focus on this. Now, as you're focusing on your leg, bring your focus to your upper body, from your waist up to your neck. The trunk of your body, not your arms, just the trunk of your body, your chest and your stomach. Let me say at this point, the best way to meditate is to allow yourself to breathe in and out, with your stomach moving, breathing in and out. That way you get in plenty of air and you get in plenty of oxygen. So how does it feel? How do you feel trying to focus on your upper body? I don't know about you, my stomach's saying, I sure want some more too. Now go to your arms. Your hands are resting on your legs, on your thighs, above your knees. Focus on your arms. Now move the focus from your arm up to your head. Feel the sensation of the breath moving in and out. You're breathing through your mouth, your nostrils. The breath moving inward is cool. The breath moving outward is warm. How does your mouth feel? And your eyes? Now try this. And again, it's not as easy as it sounds, but some people really like this exercise. Try to pretend that you have a string that's coming down from a huge theater and you're a marionette and you're on a stage and you're just hanging from the string at the top of your head, and just let your body go totally relaxed. Even though you're hanging, your feet are still on the floor, so you're not hanging uncomfortably, but you're just letting yourself go there and feel totally relaxed. If somebody pulls a chair up behind you, the most comfortable chair you've ever sat in, and you sat down in the chair, the string detaches from the top of your head. You sit down and place your feet flat on the floor. Your hands on your thighs, just above your knees. Your back straight. Your head is upright and straight as possible. And just breathe and relax for maybe a minute. We don't have long left to go. And then we go back to the first practice we did. When thoughts start coming up, whatever you're focusing on, if you're focusing on, you can open your eyes and focus on something in the room, or you can focus on the breath again. Just let yourself focus on something as you breathe in and out. And let's just come back to our Zoom session. Just not quickly, just slowly and gently. Just allow yourself to move a bit, to move around and feel relaxed and comfortable. Now I have a little bell that I'm going to ring. This bell is kind of a signal that we're coming back to the Zoom session, and I'm going to talk to you a few more minutes before we end the session this morning. Okay, so that was our like body scan practice, and it's actually a good bit more involved than that in our in our regular teaching. We go through a number of different steps to do that, but it's one that I enjoy teaching because it can be very, very relaxing. And so as we go through the day and we're studying, if you don't mind, I'd like to give you a few pointers for how to really kind of focus. When you're listening and if you're like me, I'm a note taker, always have been. And if you're taking notes or whatever, don't let yourself become anxious about time or anything else. If you're the teacher, of course, you have to be worried about the time. But just let yourself listen. And when you listen and you hear words, what I do is I write down things in the margin, words that I hear or phrases that I hear that I might want to ask about, or I might want to study further for myself, and just focus on what you hear. Remember that we, as all of us, are said to have been there at Mount Sinai at the giving of the Torah. And so, take some time between the sessions maybe to imagine being there. How awesome that must have been to have, to have seen that event happen, and to be a part of that community, and to have and that also shows you how important the Torah is in our lives and in the lives of our community and in our individual lives. And there are meditations you can do on that too, on the Torah and the importance of the Torah. So it's maybe 13 minutes or so till the other session. So I'm going to end now, and I hope that was helpful. Anybody that has any questions at all about meditation, feel free to call me. My number's in the directory, or I will be happy to do a one-on-one session with you in Zoom if you want to learn more about meditation. Just let me know. I'm here to help you any way I can in our community. Thanks, and hope you enjoy the day.
Thank you, James. That was wonderful. I know I felt very relaxed, and as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about like unity, and we say, Shema Yisrael Adonai, Eloheinu Adonai Echad, God is one, and we can connect to that unity when we feel of our bodies as one unit, and that's what that relaxation helps us to do. And I was also thinking about the not midrash, but like our the Torah when we're at Sinai and the people say Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear. I feel like I understand it a little bit differently now. It's that we're doing, but only when we stop and collect ourselves, then are we prepared to hear. And it's sort of a reminder to say that in order to hear, let's find that unity within ourselves and the relaxation. And we can reach that sort of devekut, that attachment to God, when we stop and listen. So thank you so much for pointing us in that direction. It's a great way to start the day. I know that I feel energized by that, and it's always great to learn from you. So James, I know you've got some other things. I don't know if you're sticking around for a little bit, but great way to start. So again, thank you. And I see that our next speaker is in the room. So we have a little break. Fill up your coffee, enjoy. You schmooze with James, and we'll get ready for our next session.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jackie.
I'm gonna go get some more tea.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some coffee here in a second.
I'm debating if hotel coffee is worth it or not.
Better than no coffee at all.
Yeah, the kind they just give you for free in the rooms is really usually pretty awful, though.
Not always.
I'm going to switch
did
to
we-
my iPad. Let me back in, please.
No worries.
Oh, Lily's here controlling the streaming. You want to stop the streaming and then we'll start it up again when we start with Jackie and Charles?